What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Blitz.
You ain't about it, we moving out. We go and get it and get it. Pull up in rollers like Rarries and Porsches. The engines is bigger and different. We talk about it, cause we about it. We with the business. Don't flip the script, or you get flipped. Don't you forget it. You ain't about it, we moving out. We go and get it and get it.
Here we go. Week 1 of fantasy football playoffs is upon us. Obviously, if you had teams on Thursday night and players, you already had the week already starting, like myself. But this is Sunday. It is time for us to dive in and help you guys out today with your fantasy playoffs. This is The Blitz. I am your co-host, Drew, and this is my other co-host, Josh DeBoard. You may know him from the DeBoard room. Josh, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excited. Ready for today. Ready to dive in. What players should we start? We'll go through our injury report as we always do each and every week. And then, obviously, guys, give us your comments. Give us what you think you need to start, who you need to sit. Josh and I, we're not experts, but we're pretty dang good and spot on. We look at matchups, look at what injuries, field. We'll freaking look at the weather for you if we need to. This is what we do at the Blitz, presented by the Buzz. With that being, what you gonna say?
Hey, keep in mind, do we have a game today? No, because we're on buys. That's because we know how to run.
That's true. That's true. This is true.
We kind of know what we're talking about a little bit.
Yeah. In our Blitz league, fantasy football league, Josh got the 1 seed, I got the 2 seed, so we get to sit back and relax while these idiots, co-workers of ours, has to fight it out this week. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen after Monday. But with that being said, guys, obviously we're going to go through our injury report right now. It's what we do. But first and foremost, before we get into that, you guys see what we're rocking. Our partners over at Manscaped, man. I just used it this morning for my beard, actually. Got a little shaved up, looking pretty good. Listen, man, it works. It's good, and your balls will thank you for it. If you guys check down here in the bottom of the ticker, we have a promo code BLITZ 2020. You get 20% off of anything. Doesn't have to be a big box. Doesn't have to be. It's any order, and it's obviously free shipping. As you guys read in the bottom, 20% off. Check it out, man. It's really, really, really helpful, and it helps out a lot. And it's a great white elephant present, or just a present in general for your significant other or someone in your family that would love to have it. It's smooth. Josh, I know you've been using it a lot. How's it working, dude?
Dude, it's good. I'm one of those guys that buy like the $10 razors at Walmart. So when I got this, I was like, I'll never have to buy another razor again. It actually makes my beard look somewhat presentable. So I dig it. All my family's got. My dad's got one now. Love it. Great stuff from Manscaped.
Nice, man. Yeah, man. I agree. I love it too. With that being said, guys, let's dive into it. Let's get that injury report going. As always, Josh is here for us to tell us any big news and this and that. Right before we got on the air, though, we will dive in. We will talk about Philadelphia Eagles head coach Doug Peterson has said, and ESPN broke the news, that Jalen Hurts will be starting the rest of the season, bearing an injury or anything like that, where Carson will come in, but Carson will be backing up Jalen Hurts for the rest of the season. Before we dive into that, let's get into the quick hits. Let's get into the latest news. Josh, injury report. Talk to us. What's going on?
All right. The local game in Ohio for me is the Bengals in Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott will start. This is the game he actually potentially can break out. The Bengals' run defense is terrible. So you guys that have had Ezekiel Elliott all year and you're kind of like, what a waste of a pick. It might pay off for you guys today against the Bengals, who the run D gives up over 5 yards a carry. So he's good to go. On the Cincinnati side, T. Higgins will be good to go. He left the game early last week with a hamstring injury. He's the only receiver. Him and Tyler Boyd are pretty much the only Bengals with fantasy relevancy anymore. He will be active. Kenyon Drake of the Arizona Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins, they are both active against the Giants today in a tough matchup because the Giants' defense is actually really, really good. In a game that should be a fun game, honestly. I'm excited to watch that one. Daniel Jones, your boy, Danny Dimes, is back as well.
Huge.
So that's a big upgrade over Colt McCoy. Kiki Kuti, Drew, we were talking about before we went on the air. This guy, we'll get into it in the stardom sit-em, but I feel like he's a must start because Brandon Cooks is out today. So Kiki will be the number one receiver for Houston today as they go up against the Bears. DeAndre Swift from Detroit is back. He's back. Okay. That's a big dude's been good when he's been healthy. His issue's been staying healthy. Josh Jacobs is back for the Raiders today as well. Frank Gore passed concussion protocol. He will play against Seattle. I don't recommend starting him, but he's active. Other kind of news, Drew Brees. For you fantasy guys holding on to him, you can go ahead and probably drop Drew Brees. The Saints are not rushing him back, and they do not want to rush him back for this game with the Chiefs on the week 15, which we're all excited for, but they will not rush him back just to have him back for that game. So as far as fantasy goes, you got Taysom Hill, start him, but Drew Brees is safe to drop, as well as George Kittle with the Niners kind of out of playoff contention. I'm a George Kittle owner. You can probably drop the guy. He won't play another snap. But if you have him on IR, just keep him on IR. Wayne Gallman will start again. There's talk that Deontay Freeman could be activated off the IR, but he got COVID and he's still nursing that injury. Wayne Gallman is actually a really good start. He's had a great 3 weeks, but he will start. Yeah, he will start for the Giants as well.
Good deal. And so with that being said, man, there's a lot to get into. There's a lot to talk about. So let's talk about a little bit real quick what was announced this morning, what I just said earlier in the podcast. Carson Wentz is full on going to be the backup, and Jalen Hurts is going to take this pigskin and basically be the guy for the rest of the season, which I think is the right move, because if you're going to make that move with Jalen Hurts, you got to see what he has. And you got to look and see what the future is going to be like with him and Carson being gone, possibly being shipped out. We don't know. I know that you said, Josh, that they're looking to keep him, but can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on? What's going on in Philly?
All right. So the report this morning is, and I quote, "None of these changes are a belief that Carson has a problem. We have full 100% faith in Carson. We just feel like he needs a mental break." So get him out. His line's terrible. His receiving core is awful. You think Alshon Jeffrey coming back would help him. All it's done is make it worse. Fulgham is irrelevant anymore. Fulgham looked like that one star receiver that they just randomly found on a practice squad. And then Jeffrey comes back. He plays 3 games a year anymore. And then it just ruins all that. We talked about it off air. $60 million dead cap next year. That's Wentz. He's due $22 million base salary, a $10 million roster bonus. His cap hit would be $59.21 million next year on the dead. That's critical, especially with the cap projected to go down a little bit because of everything hurting because of COVID. They didn't have fans. NFL lost some money. You saw in the NBA where they gave every team $30 extra million because they're all struggling, right? So I don't know. I didn't understand the Jalen Hurts draft pick when they did it, especially a year after extending Carson. But from what we're hearing this morning, they stand behind him. And Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce, the 2 leaders on the Eagles, are 1 billion% behind Carson Wentz. And if the reports are, if they were to try to move on from him, it would create absolute chaos within that locker room because everybody's still supportive of Carson Wentz. So Philly's going to be a very interesting team to follow in this offseason.
That's crazy, man. It's crazy. And we're talking about a guy who last year took this team to the playoffs with nothing but scrubs out there and guys they picked up from the street like you and me and go playing receiver. And Carson still was able to get to a postseason berth. Yeah, he didn't play a playoff game because of a concussion because he met Clowney's nuts. But other than that, it is what it is. It's just crazy to see a downfall like this. It's like you put in Jalen Hurts. Yes, we agree. He's more mobile in the pocket and he can move and extend the play. But so can Carson. The difference is that this offensive line is just garbage There's no talent around him. I think it's truly unfair to put all this on him. I think that quote that you said is a bunch of dog crap. His mental toughness, he needs a mental break and this and that. That's weak, dude. That's weak sauce. I'm sorry. I will never agree with sitting your starting quarterback unless he is injured and you don't want to injure him even more and he's trying to be an Iron Man. That's me. That's what I got to say. We'll move on. We got comments on the board. Joe, our boy Joe. What's up, guys? What's up, Joe? How you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in this morning. Austin. Obviously, Austin's he is my brother, and he's one of the most biggest Eagles fans I know. Carson needs a real offensive coordinator. That's been our discussions. I know it's been discussions in the boardroom and also for game-winning drive. We've been talking about OC, and they need a new coaching staff. But I still believe that this is 1,000% on the shoulders of Howie, who is the GM at the Eagles. It starts at the top. I always believe it starts at the top, and the draft picks have been absolutely horrendous. I'm not going to go through and talk about the Eagles that much because we are a fantasy show. Willie, what's up, Willie? Good morning, man. Raheem Mostert, Wayne Gallman, CEH, Hunt, Evans, Jacobs. I need 3, Josh. What 3 guys are you picking out of that group for Willie?
Jacobs. I'm assuming that's Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Minnesota. So Jacobs, Evans, and Gallman. I know
Okay.
I'm not doing CEH, but he's banged up. I think Bell's going to get sprinkled in. I mean, he was a healthy – like last week, he was active, but he didn't play, right? So a lot of fantasy people were pissed because Edwards-Helaire was active. Yeah, but he was active, and everybody's like, start him. Then he got nothing. Yeah. So I don't trust it again. Jacobs is back. Evans is Brady's number 1 target, and Gallman's been balling out. So I like Gallman.
Willie, Gallman is on fire. For fantasy PPR users, he's trending everywhere right now. I love the start. I love the matchup he's got going on this week. I'm definitely going Wade Gallman. I'm staying away from Mostert. I'm staying away from CEH. I'm definitely going Mike Evans. Minnesota's secondary is not good. As you guys can see, the most red zone targets this year so far is Tom Brady to Mike Evans when it comes to receivers. So Mike Evans is gonna get the start. I know I was a little afraid because I'm a Mike Evans owner that he had issues with his hammy again. He missed practice on Thursday but came back Friday. Good for the walkthrough. Mike Evans is a must start this week, as is Gallman. And then I'm looking at Jacobs or Hunt. Hunt's going against Baltimore. I don't like that matchup. He's splitting carries with Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is gaining it back for him when it comes to being the number 1. So I'm looking around the tail. I don't like CH against Miami. Miami's rushing defense is really good. I want to stay away from that. So Jacobs is going against Indy. Indy's defense is number 1 total defense in the NFL. I don't like that as well. So if I had to break it down and look at it, I'm probably going to go Gallman. I'm definitely going Gallman. Definitely going Evans, and I'm going to go Mostert. I'm going to go Mostert just because Josh Jacobs coming off an injury, going against Indy. Don't like that. Hunt is sharing load with Nick Chubb. I don't like that. CEH, we don't know, like Josh said. It's just hard. So, Willie, I'm going Gallman. I'm going Mostert, and I'm going Mike Evans. Keep giving us questions, man. We appreciate it, guys. Austin. Yeah, fuck Howie. Okay, got you. Douglas. Hey, Douglas, good morning, man. Thank you for giving us a question. Tyler Eifert, which is the tight end for the Jags, or Jonnu Smith. This is easy, man. I'm going with Jonnu Smith here for me for Tennessee. I just think he gets a lot more targets than people think, and he gets a lot more plays designed to him. I like Jonnu Smith a lot. He's one of my breakout tight ends of the year. Josh?
I'm looking up who's the new guy. Jonnu Smith, I'd actually start Eifert because it looks like Tennessee's found another guy. Anthony Firkser. He's been getting targets like crazy, and it looks like Tennessee does a very good job at finding these tight ends out of nowhere, right? Like last year they started when New England played them in the playoffs, I think they threw the ball to 6 different tight ends. Like they keep them all active. But over the last couple weeks, this guy, 22 targets, 108 yards. He hasn't got in the end zone, though. But it's something to keep an eye on. But with Jacksonville's terrible quarterback play, even though Mike Glennon's played better, I see why you go Smith. and Eifert's not getting a lot of targets, but I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I think I'm with Jonnu as well, and that your brother's right. He was injured last week. I'd go Jonnu Smith. I can't justify with the quarterback play in Jacksonville to start anybody outside of Shark or James Robinson.
I agree. I definitely agree with you. Yeah, guys, keep giving us your questions, give us your comments. It's a big week, obviously, like we said. Playoffs, we're here to help you. I think I'm going to help myself while I'm talking during the show today. With that being said, guys, check this out. We are the Blitz, and check out this awesome clip we got going on right now.
Get the Lambo car, house in the hills with the stars. Told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I go far. Baby, it's crystal clear. I'm not a souvenir. I'm not an accessory. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now.
That's right. The Buzz, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We are over 110 subscribers on YouTube. It's been absolutely amazing this past week and a half. We've been on such a huge trend thanks to the contributions of Josh, myself, Archie, Daniel Bockley, and Chuck, and so many others I can't even name. Thank you guys so much, and just follow us, guys. We got constant articles and constant training information every day that we love to release to you guys and talk to you guys about it. Obviously, second down, we got another question here from Austin. Wide receiver Curtis Samuel, running back DeAndre Swift, and wide receiver Christian Kirk. Play one, Josh. Who'll be playing?
Man, I'm curious. Who's Carolina? This is a tough one because automatically I'm like Samuel or Swift. Carolina is playing Denver. I go Curtis Samuel. He's going to get targets. They use him in the McCaffrey role. With McCaffrey being out, Curtis Samuel's value just goes way up. They use him in that same role, which I feel in the future when they have Samuel and a healthy CMC, that offense is going to be very good, being able to use both of them that way. I'd go Curtis Samuel, but I'd go Samuel, Swift, then Kirk, because I like Swift being back healthy because he's going to get a lot of carries and targets out of the backfield as well.
Yeah, man. For me, I'm a little bit opposite from my partner, Us. I'm going with DeAndre Swift. I know he's the feature back in Detroit. Once he plays, Adrian Peterson and Kerryon Johnson, they go wasted away. I'm definitely going DeAndre Swift. Great pass catcher out of the backfield, and then also just good ability of running the ball. He's going to be the red zone guy. It's not Adrian Peterson, so I'm definitely going DeAndre Swift. I love the matchup this week with him, and he's hungry, so I'm definitely going DeAndre. I would go Curtis Samuel second and Christian Kirk third. You just don't know what's going on with Arizona, and I don't like that matchup with them against the Giants. And also the other thing that really bothers me a lot is Kyler Murray's shoulder. Still having a lot of injury. Still has an injury there, and it's still it's pretty much evident that he cannot throw the ball right now. So got another one here from Jose Vega, man. Thank you so much, man, for tuning in, and good morning to you. Pick one running back and one flex. Ronald Jones, Giovanni Bernard, Juju, or Nyheim Hines. Full PPR.
Man. All right.
That is tough.
I don't like Juju.
No, not against Baltimore.
And too many weapons on Pittsburgh's side of the ball as well. They utilize their weapons very well.
Yep.
So for fantasy owners, that's a nightmare. Is it crazy? I'd go Gio and Hines just because Gio, the Bengals were playing Dallas, whose defense absolutely sucked. And you got Brandon Allen's the quarterback, so you're going to run the ball a lot, check downs, screens. They're going to play it safe. So Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins owners, beware. It kind of is what it is with the quarterback situation, with obviously Burrow being out. It's crazy. Out of all, I really like Ronald Jones. He reminds me of a smaller Brandon Jacobs, especially wearing that 27 trucking people. But I'm going Gio and Hines. Hines gets a lot of receptions as well out of the backfield. He's kind of splitting time with Taylor. Taylor runs the ball. Hines gets the catches. I'd go Gio and Hines. It's funny how fantasy works. You have people like Gio Bernard that can actually get you to the championship game. That's why fantasy is so cool. But I'd roll with Gio and Hines.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, you really described it for me. I love it a lot. I definitely am going Hines. You already know Hines is that guy. He's getting a lot of targets a lot of red zone carries, which is actually kind of surprising because they have Jonathan Taylor there, who's the actual he's the bell cow of this running attack. But I love Hines a lot. Obviously, Phillip Rivers loves his running backs. Hines is what Austin Eckler was last year. I keep saying it all year. It's a great fit for Phillip Rivers and what he wants to do, the verbiage, the offense in the Indianapolis Colts. Definitely Hines, Jose. And then for me, I'm staying away from Juju. I'm staying away from Ronald Jones. I got to go Gio Bernard. I like Gio a lot. He really good. He's done a lot more than what Joe Mixon has done this year. And even when Joe Mixon was healthy, he wasn't able to do what Gio's done. So I like Gio. I think Gio could be a great option for the rookie who's going to be checking down a lot, like Josh said. So I agree with my partner, Gio Bernard and Nyheim Hines for us.
Dude, 168 yards a game Dallas gives up on the ground, last in the NFL. So what do you think the Bengals are going to do today?
It's going to be crazy. Stafford, Matt Ryan, or Kirk Cousins? For me, I'm going to go off the bat. I'm just going to tell you this is going to be an easy pick for me. I'm going Matt Ryan. I can't trust Kirk against Tampa Bay defense. I think this is going to be that type of game where Tampa Bay is just going to show up, and their defense is just going to show up and just dominate against Minnesota. Long story short, man, Tampa needs to win this game, and me and Josh have talked about it before in the past, but we talked about it this week on Game Winning Drive. If there's not a team that's in contention for playoffs that could be a contender, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that need to win more than any other team this week. They have to get this one to be 8-5. The New Orleans Saints are going to be playing this week against Philly, and the next week they got Kansas City. So that's going to be a huge loss because we think they're going to lose, obviously, because no Drew Brees. But for me, they have to win, Josh. So I am going to go with Matt Ryan against one of the worst defenses across the NFL, which is the Chargers. You already saw what New England did to LA last week, and I loved it because it's going to, it's a loss and more, higher pick for me. I don't need to dive into it. Stafford's hit in and out for me, Josh. He's too inconsistent. Either he's hot or he's cold. Too much of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde personality going on right now with this game. So I'm staying away from Stafford and Cousins.
I'll go opposite of you. I would start Stafford because they're playing Green Bay. They're at home. Green Bay is going to get out early, get a lead, and this is where garbage time is going to be key because Green Bay is going to probably beat the brakes off of Detroit. Let's be honest. Green Bay is Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers are on a different level right now with each other. Like Adams is tearing it up. Lazard's getting into it. Aaron Jones getting into it. I feel like Green Bay jumps on top. Detroit has to play from behind, even with no Galladay. Marvin Jones Jr. owners start. This dude, he's the only target he has left outside of Hawkinson because Hawkinson's finally relevant again. I think Stafford you should start due to the fact they're going to be playing from behind and he's going to be chucking the ball up. Like last week, he had over 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. So this is where in fantasy, you kind of look at the matchup against Green Bay, and yeah, it looks bad on paper because Green Bay is great, but you think about it, Detroit's going to play from behind most of today, so they're going to be throwing the ball, which should be good. But I don't disagree with Matt Ryan. Your secondaries, dude, they're banged up. I mean, Cam Newton lit him up, and Cam Newton couldn't.
No, Cam Newton lit him up. He didn't lit him up. He didn't throw over 100 yards.
Listen, that's what Cam Newton's lighting up means. When he hits 100, you got lit up. Well, listen, the secondary, but no Julio again. Calvin Ridley's been banged up. So Matt Ryan, because Julio is out again. So Calvin Ridley owners, you want to start him, but I like Stafford.
Okay. Good deal. Jody, hey, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I really appreciate it. And she's got a question for us, Josh. Josh Jacobs, running back for the Raiders, or Duke Johnson for the Texans?
With David Johnson being put on the COVID list this week, is it crazy? Even though you probably took Josh Jacobs in the first 3 rounds, that I would actually start Duke Johnson?
No, it's not crazy at all.
He's the number one back. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. We've seen him on Thanksgiving catching 30-yard bombs from Deshaun Watson in the corner of the end zone. The dude can catch. We knew it back in his Browns days that he's just underutilized. I'd go Duke Johnson. I don't like Josh Jacobs. Like you said earlier, the Colts defense is really damn good. So Josh Jacobs is going up one of the better defenses in the league. Actually, like you said, the number 1 ranked defense in the league.
Yes.
I'd go Duke Johnson.
Yeah, this is easy for me. I'm going Duke Johnson. No Will Fuller, no Brandon Cooks. Easily Duke Johnson. He's going to be getting a lot of carries, a lot of checkdowns, and this might be one of those type of games where Akins and Fells, who are the tight ends for the Texans, they love to run their double tight end sets when they don't have a receiver outside. So it's going to be Duke Johnson. I can't trust Jacobs coming off an injury and also going against a powerhouse defense in Indy. I'm definitely going Duke. Gallman, Evans, Carson, Hines. Need two. God, that is tough.
Can you start all four?
Yeah. Can you start? I mean, they all four have great matchups. Is this full PPR, Willie? I believe it is with you because you always do full PPR. If it is, there's no way in God's green earth I am sitting Hines. I just can't do it. Not against that Raiders horrid defense. I have to go Hines just because of Rivers always throwing to his running backs. Chris Carson, if I'm playing devil's advocate, Chris Carson is going against the Jets, and I'm afraid if he gets hurt, that it's going to be the back of my mind that I could either start Gallman or Evans. And Evans has had a little bit of injury history, so do I go Gallman here? Golly, this is tough. You know what? I'm gonna go Chris Carson. That New York Jets defense is god awful. Russell Wilson is throwing to Carson. Carson got a receiving touchdown last week. I think Carson's gonna run all over that defense. Willie, for me, man, I'm going Carson and Hines.
Dude, this is rough. I'm going Carson and Mike Evans. Man, Willie, kudos to you for building a pretty good team. You know you have a good team when you have so many guys you don't know which one will start because you feel like they're all going to hit. Mike Evans, like you said, number one red zone target, Tom Brady's go-to guy. Got a plan. Huge game. That Minnesota-Tampa Bay game is huge for both teams. You're going to get the best out of both. Because Minnesota's right. They're at that 7th spot, and Tampa Bay, is clinging because they're kind of in a free fall right now. I'd go Chris Carson. It's the Jets. We've talked about it all year. We mock them. But there's also the possibility he hurts his whatever in the first quarter and doesn't come back. I know. Because Chris Carson's and you got Carlos Hyde. So, Willie, I would go Carson, Evans. But if you're like, I'm worried about his injury history, then I would go Gallman, Evans. But I think Evans is the constant here.
Okay. All right. Hope that helped you, Willie. Keep giving us questions, brother. Jody, I agree 100%. I appreciate it, y'all. Yeah, Jody, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any more questions, please give it to us. We love answering them. Your friend Crystal, you guys are about to do a huge show on Tuesday. Carson is going to light it up today. She is a Seattle Seahawks fan, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to give Crystal a little bit of nod for that. But she's sticking with her team. Willie, yes, PPR full. Got you on that one. Okay, cool. All right, brother. Guys, we're going to get into our second quarter by yourself. And speaking of, he's pretty much been our topic of the day. New York Giants running back Wayne Gallman has scored at least 13.2 fantasy points a game since week 7. Are you buying or selling on Wayne Gallman for the rest of the year, Josh?
How odd would it be if I sold after we've talked about the guy for you'd think week 1 of fantasy playoffs, we spent half the episode talking about Wayne Gallman. How weird is fantasy football? I'm buying.
That's why I love it.
Even when I don't think they're going to rush Devontae Freeman back anytime soon either. I think they found something here. Obviously, Saquon will be back next year, but think of Saquon and Wayne Gallman catching passes out of the backfield. That's a nice little duo you're going to have next year. Get Danny Dimes some damn receiving help. But as far as this goes, I'm buying. I'm starting him in my I'm going to start him next week when I'm off a bye. I like what he's doing. He's catching the ball. He ran all over Seattle's defense. Sorry, Crystal, but he did. He lit them up, and it caught me off guard. He's running 20, 25-yard chunks. His offensive line, let's be honest, isn't that good, but he can hit. He gets around the edge quick. I'm buying 13.2 a game, and just consider Freeman was getting carries because he was healthy from week 7 to week 12.
Yes.
So that's with splitting carries. Just think what he's going to do being the lead back, because they don't really – Alfred Morris is their backup. Alfred Morris hasn't been relevant since he played for Washington back when they actually had a team name.
2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, but still, Gallman's the guy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm buying. Easy as that. What you just everything you said. Really a high IQ of where to hit the holes. I love how he runs in between the tackles. I love how he runs outside. Great burst of speed. Acceleration is huge. Great hands. Great route runner out of the back. I love Gallman a lot. I should have kept him early in the season and stashed him away. But that's why I love fantasy football so much. Players emerge when you least expect it. So yeah, I'm definitely buying on New York Giants running back Wayne Gallman. David, man, appreciate you so much for giving us a question, man. Thank you for tuning into the Blitz, presented by the Buzz. Josh, David's got a question: running back Miles Sanders or running back J.K. Dobbins for the Baltimore Ravens?
Man, so Baltimore's playing Cleveland. Sanders is playing New Orleans. The question automatically comes to my mind is Philadelphia, how different is Philly's offense going to be with Jalen Hurts back there? Are you going to see more RPO? Are you going to see more checkdowns? Is Miles Sanders actually going to get utilized the way he should? Because I feel like he's been way underutilized in that offense, which is why Carson Wentz is struggling. Miles Sanders should be getting the ball 15 to 20 times a game and be used in the passing game. With all that being said, I'd go J.K. Dobbins. I really would. It's the Monday night game, so, they're at Cleveland, who's hot. Cleveland's hot. Let's be honest. The Browns could be 10-3 after this week, which living in Ohio absolutely blows my mind that they're an actual contender, it looks like, if Baker stays on. Baker's been playing well, but we'll get to Baker in a minute. I'd go JK just because he seems to be – Mark Ingram's carries are going down. Gus Edwards is only relevant. Yeah, so Mark Ingram, I think you said a few weeks ago, he'll be back in New Orleans next year playing
No, he will.
I got JK. Pass catching ability, he gets a lot of carries, and since he's back healthy again, there's no reason not to start him. I'd go JK. Miles Sanders has to be one of the biggest fantasy disappointments of this year.
Without a doubt.
He was going round one, right?
Yeah, round one, round two. Yeah, round one. And my cousin actually drafted Aaron Jones and traded him for Miles Sanders. Let that sink in. For me, it's J.K. Dobbins, David. Miles Sanders is just not that guy this year. Horrible offensive line. And now that you put in Jalen Hurts, I just don't see it's going to happen. A lot of RPOs. But, I'm not going Miles Sanders at all. I'm going J.K. Dobbins. So, I think that's more of an easy one for me personally because I just can't trust Miles. Breaking news. Leonard Fournette is officially inactive for today. So Ronald Jones should be starting everywhere, and I agree. Austin's presenting it to us. Fournette is a healthy scratch. A little kind of shocking for me a little bit, but looks like they're going to go with Ronald Jones, and they're going to go with rookie Keyshawn Vaughn, who's going to be the backup for Ronald Jones. So just a little bit of news right there for you guys. Let's get into our next buy or sell segment. Bears running back David Montgomery, 28 carries, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. 52.4 fantasy points over that span. Are we buying or are we selling? I'm buying on David Montgomery. He was one of my biggest running backs coming out of the draft this year for NFL. I like him a lot. I thought he was going to be a lot better, but due to injuries and inconsistency in the offense from the quarterback side and the offensive line, it's been really tough for Montgomery to get going. But it seems like Matt Nagy is figuring it out, and David Montgomery, who is their best offensive player besides A-Rob, he is killing it, man. He is killing it in between the tackles, outside, great hands. Love the focus point being him on the offense. I love David Montgomery a lot, Josh. I'm buying him. And another note to say, they have one of the most easiest schedules heading into this week and the next 2 weeks. Consider throughout the fantasy playoffs, the Bears, wide receivers and running backs have the easiest schedule. Got to buy him. Got to buy.
So like we talked about Gio Bernard, right? Guess who Dallas has the worst run defense? Hey, Drew, guess who has the second worst rush defense in the NFL? The Houston Texans. Who's coming to town? David Montgomery and the Bears. So guess what? You see these stats. What do you think the Bears – even Matt Nagy's dumbass can't mess this up. Give the guy the football. Mitch is going to be playing again, so they need to run the ball and make sure that Mitch does not throw the ball that much because if he does, it's going to happen. As a David Montgomery guy, I actually traded Will Fuller for David Montgomery straight up because I have a lot of at wide receiver, which is a great trade now since Will Fuller suspended. But Will Fuller balled out. I feel like that was an even trade. I had to need a running back after Dalvin Cook. I have Jonathan Taylor and James White. And then I cut James White. Now I have Damian Harris, and you can't trust New England. So I'm starting David Montgomery, and I'm buying him the rest of the year. The schedule, you hit it right on the head. Their schedule eases up, and it's very easy for running backs who they have coming up. You got Minnesota, who's leaky against the run. Jacksonville, we have Dallas is the worst run D. Houston is the second worst. Jacksonville is the third worst. So there's another easy matchup. Then they end with Green Bay, which, let's be honest, Green Bay's probably resting half their team. And fantasy playoffs are over anyway at that point, so it really doesn't matter. But that'd be the super – Green Bay's a good matchup because, like I just said, they're going to be resting half their team. They're going to be locked into the 2 or 3 seed at that point. But I'm buying David Montgomery, dude. It's about time they started giving the guy the damn ball.
I agree. I definitely agree. Douglas with another question. Wide receiver Henry Ruggs or Colin Johnson or James Washington or, I don't know his first name, but Barrios or Hanson. Need a flex start. I'm going to tell you right now, man, it's not Ruggs. I'm not going Ruggs against Indy. I don't feel comfortable with that. The only guy I feel comfortable with the Raiders is Darren Waller. James Washington is too many. It's just too many heads at that Washington offense. It's just, who do you feed? For me, I'm going to go with Hanson, man. I know Hanson's been a really interesting trend this week in fantasy football. I like Hanson a lot. Doug, for me, it's going to be Hanson. The way I look at the matchups and what I'm seeing, I'm definitely going Hanson here.
This one's tough. Braxton Berrios, do not start him. He's a Jet, and I'm avoiding him. He doesn't get a lot of targets either. The thing with Pittsburgh, like we said, they have too many mouths to feed, dude. Claypool goes off 1 week, then Juju the next week, then Washington, then Ebron. I'd actually go Ruggs. I know they're playing a good defense, but the threat that Carr could just throw a bomb and he could break it for 80 at any point in time has to be a little bit appealing, even if that's the only catch the guy gets. He is their number one receiver target. Waller's their number one target. No, like as far as wide receivers go, Waller's their obviously number one target. But when he's obviously Waller's going to be doubled. So where's he going to go? He'd have to go to Ruggs. So for that, I stay away from Colin Johnson. I'd go Ruggs. Hanson be my number 2, though.
Okay. I hope that helped you out, Doug. That was a tough one. Detroit Lions wide receiver Marvin Jones Jr. has scored over 10 fantasy points in each game since Week 7, including over 20 in Weeks 10 including over 20 in Weeks and 10 in last week. I'm buying. I'm hesitantly buying. I do like Marvin Jones a lot. I think he's getting a lot of targets. Obviously, with Kenny G out, who's been one of the most biggest disappointments of the year, Kenny Golladay. With that being said, Josh, it's an easy buy for me because Matthew Stafford, like you said, is going to be passing a lot against these teams because they're going to be down. Green Bay game's a perfect example today. They're going to be down by a lot going into the second half, and you're going to see Matt Stafford make a mini comeback, and he's going to throw the ball constantly nonstop. So I'm definitely buying on Marvin Jones Jr. for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's kind of like process of elimination. No Golladay. I mean, Galladay's your number one target there. So where do you go? You have to go, and you got Danny Amendola, who's I don't trust at all. And you've seen the trend with Marvin Jones. Like, he's getting all the targets Golladay would have gotten, as well as T.J. Hawkinson. So I'm buying him. He's a very sneaky, like, wide receiver 2 start, I think.
Yeah.
And he's definitely a good flex start. I think he'll put up, like I said earlier, garbage time today, man. He's going to be getting 7-yard catch, 8-yard catch, 6-yard catch. And he's just going to be putting up points, I think. He could have potentially like a 10-catch, over 100-yard game just based on the fact that they're playing from behind the whole game. And he's the only wide receiver they actually have at this point that Stafford trusts.
I agree. New York Giants defense averaging 50 points a game over the last 2 with upcoming games against Arizona, Cleveland, and Baltimore. Are you buying or selling?
I'm selling. I know their defense is good, but you do, and I know you make me worry about Kyler Murray, who's my starting quarterback in fantasy, with his shoulder, but Arizona, they're going to blow up one of these games, man. They've been struggling on offense, it feels like, since the Patriots game, because that's when I seen them up close, because I thought they were going to get blown out because of all the weapons they have. But Arizona worries me. Cleveland is kind of firing on all cylinders right now. Baltimore, I feel like they would play well because Baltimore's struggling. Lamar, is not throwing the ball well, and they just look like outside of that Dallas game, they haven't looked good. I'm selling just because I'm worried about the Arizona and Cleveland matchups. I feel like both of those teams could put up points. Danny Dimes worries me with his turnovers. So it's not as much as their defense is bad, but like Danny Dimes turns the ball over at the 20. You only have to go 20 yards to get a touchdown. You know what I mean? So like that kind of Colt McCoy was a lot better protecting the football. And Danny Dimes at times looks like deer in headlights. So I'm selling, but it's not the worst play, man. It's hard at this time for defenses. You just kind of have to pick and plug based on matchups.
Yeah, man, I'm selling too. I can't trust the rest of the schedule. I think Arizona's gonna blow up very soon. I know he has an injury, but Kyler has an injury, but I just can't trust. I just can't trust it. Cleveland and Baltimore offense can explode as well. I like the Giants. I like them a lot next year, but right now I'm gonna have to hesitantly say sell. Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield, 592 yards passing, 6 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks, 53.88 points over that span. Are we buying or selling? And for me personally, I am selling. I am not trusting on Baker Mayfield. I'm not trusting at all. I'm not going to get into it. We already know how it is. He's very inconsistent, like to the max degree. You got to protect him, got to roll him out. Kevin Stefanski's doing a hell of a job as offensive coordinator and a head coach this year, because pretty much he is the offensive coordinator calling the plays. But this is all about, and it ends with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's how the story goes, and that's how the story is going to end. Their rushing is their special ability, and Baker throwing is their kryptonite. It just happened to work last week. Don't trust it. Can't trust it. I love Baker. I think Baker needs to build more confidence within himself, trust himself in the pocket more. He's too happy feet. He likes to move way too much and pump the ball. He needs to trust in himself. He needs to go to Drew Brees quarterback school and figure out how to throw the ball as a short quarterback. I think he will figure it out. We'll see if he does these next 4 weeks. But I'm really interested to see how he's going to do the playoffs. That's all that matters to me. To see what he does when the lights shine bright and you're sweating. And do you have that ice in your veins where you could be that dude that can take this team and get his first playoff win in over I don't know how many years. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I am definitely selling for fantasy-wise.
Yeah, overall I'm selling. As much as everybody loves him after his breakout last week, I mean, which Baker are you going to get? We agree that Baker's most effective when Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are getting 20 carries each and he's throwing the ball 17 to 25 times. Less is more with Baker. I mean, the only game that's kind of like, oh my God, he's a must start would be the Jets game in 2 weeks because it's the Jets and you're going to put up points on the Jets. So I'm selling. I'm not trusting Baker in fantasy playoffs. And apparently we're going to see how he plays in the actual playoffs here in a few weeks because the Browns are pretty much locked into that 5 seed. But I'm not trusting Baker. If you have Baker, keep an eye on the waiver wire. Keep an eye on matchups. Hopefully you were smart enough to draft 2 quarterbacks or at least pick another one up so you can kind of flex them out, but I'm selling as well.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that ends our second quarter. Check out so I know we talked about Manscaped before. Check out this awesome little clip we have for Manscaped. Yes, sir. That's where you get your Manscaped and your products, as always. With that being said, here we go. Third quarter, starting to sit, and we're going to go through the games real quick, and then we'll talk about and discuss it. Denver Broncos at Carolina. Josh, who we starting and who we sitting?
Your boy Robbie Anderson, I'd start. Hell of a breakout year for the guy. It's happy to see him. It's funny when you leave New York, good things happen to you, especially when you're reunited with your old college coach, which is kind of cool, I thought. Your boy Robbie Anderson, I think I feel like Carolina can really light up Denver's secondary today. I really do. I like Bridgewater even, and I haven't been a big fan of his this year. Curtis Samuel, I think, is a must start. He's pretty much Christian McCaffrey in this offense. CMC's probably done for the year, right?
Yeah,
Is he done
unfortunately.
for the season?
They don't know yet. They haven't said anything.
Like, why bring him back if you're Carolina? Like, why risk re-injuring your franchise player? Then on the Denver side, Drew, this is where I'm like, you're Melvin Gordon. You know, you're more familiar with the guy. Is he worth a start now? Because Philip Lindsay's been struggling.
Yeah, he's worth the start. I start him just because Philip Lindsay's injuries that he's knocked up, he's hurt. So he's running good, man. He's running good. Yeah, that's for me. He's a must start this week for me. Also, Noah Fant is a sit for me. I'm not starting any receivers from the Denver side. And
you're
Carolina's
corner too, right?
Yeah, I am. But I'll have to start him this week. And Robbie Anderson is a must start for me this week. And Mike Davis. I'm sitting DJ Moore.
Okay. I like Mike Davis too. He's been balling out.
Yeah. Arizona Cardinals against the New York Giants. For me, I'm sitting Kyler Murray. I don't trust it against this surging New York Giants defense. I know we just said we're going to sell, but I still want to start him. If you have someone else, I will plug them in just because of Kyler Murray the last couple of weeks. He's hurt, not playing good, not playing like he used to. Kenyon Drake is a start for me. DeAndre Hopkins obviously is a start. I'm sitting Dan Arnold. I'm sitting Christian Kirk. I'm sitting Dan Arnold. I have to. No, stop.
Dan Arnold's our biggest fan, bro.
No, stop. Dan Arnold, if you ever see this video, retweet us though. And then the New York Giants for me, I'm starting Wayne Gallman. I'm starting Evan Ingram, and I'm sitting Shepard, and I'm sitting. I can't think of his name. Was it 87? Slayton. I'm sitting Slayton, and I'm sitting Daniel Jones. I just don't know I don't know. He's active. He's officially starting, but I can't trust him. I just can't. We don't know what the injury is. We don't know what it's going to be like for him today to play. But I know head coach Joe Judge for the Giants came out saying they used everything they could to get him back on the field. That kind of alarms me a little bit as a fantasy if I'm a fantasy owner of him. But moving forward, no, thank you.
Kyler Murray's worrying me, and luckily I'm on a bye this week because I don't like this matchup as far as they could come out and put up 30 on the Giants, and they also can come out and put up 3 because the Giants do have a very underrated defense, and people just look at their record and think, oh, they're terrible, but they're really not. I like Evan Ingram. I'd start him. Wayne Gallman's like the star of this episode. I'd start him as well. Poor Dan Arnold, as much as we love him, I wouldn't start him, unfortunately. Christian Kirk, I would avoid. Fitzgerald's back. I'd avoid him. People's asking me, like, is Fitz got any – with Hopkins getting doubled, do you start Fitz? I don't. Kenyon Drake is surprisingly a good start here, even though you'd think with the Giants' good run defense, but he's active today. And D-Hop, dude, I feel like when's he going to have that game again? He's had a really quiet month. So I feel like he's just due. But on the Giants side, dude, there's not a lot to love outside of Gallman and Evan Ingram.
There you go. I agree. Kansas City Chiefs go against the Miami Dolphins at Miami. Who's your start and who's your sit this week?
So I guess the question is, who is playing running back for the Dolphins? Gaskin is on the COVID list. Salman Ahmad is out. So we talked before we came on. So DeAndre Washington, Patrick Laird, and Elijah McGuire are the 3 running backs today going up against the Chiefs. So how do you think that's going to work out? Miami, I'm honestly going to avoid anybody outside of Devontae Parker because I feel like this is a game where Kansas City gets up early and Tua is going to have to, unfortunately, play from behind. Parker is probably going to be his go-to guy. On Kansas City side, I don't like the running backs. Edwards-Helaire, Bell, I would not start them. Miami's got a good run D, but it's Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, the people you'd expect to, be the stars. Sammy Watkins could be a sneaky start as well. But on the KC side, it's the usual suspects. On Miami, I don't like much outside of Parker.
Yeah, I agree. I'm opposite of you with Parker, though. I'm sitting Parker, and I'm starting. The only guy I'm starting is Mike Gesicki. Been on a surge the last couple of weeks, and Tua loves him. Tua's throwing to the tight ends a lot. So I think Gesicki might be involved more than any other person in the offense from a target standpoint. That's it for Miami. For Kansas City, I am sitting all running backs, and my surprise star of the week is going to be Sammy Watkins. I think Hill's going to have a tough time against this Miami defense, and then I think Kelsey is going to just surge against these linebackers. So I got Kelsey, and I got Sammy as must-starts for Kansas City, besides, obviously, the best quarterback in the game, which is Patrick Mahomes. So we'll move on there. The Dallas Cowboys go against the Cincinnati Bengals. For me, Gio Bernard is definitely a must-start. Tyler Boyd is another must-start for me. Dallas secondary is absolutely horrendous. And then you flip it over, Zeke. I can't think of his name. The tight end, Schultz.
Yep.
Schultz. Definitely a start for me for Schultz. And then from the receiving side for Dallas, I'm looking and I'm seeing, and I think Michael Gallup would be a good start this week against Cincinnati. They'll focus on Amari Cooper, and I'm sorry, not Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is my start for the receivers this week for Dallas. I'm not starting either or quarterbacks. Don't like it. Don't trust. I know Andy Dalton's got a little revenge game against Cincinnati, but I don't feel comfortable with Andy Dalton at quarterback right now. So that's for me.
I feel like Andy Dalton could go back in time, like, oh yeah, I play for the Bengals, and just start throwing the ball to them, like, oh shit, never mind, I play for Dallas now, because Andy Dalton tends to do that.
Yeah, it could happen.
Fantasy owners, man, this could be one of those 28, 30 points for each team, like a 31-28 kind of game. Neither team plays defense. I mean, that's fair. But, Brandon Allen versus Andy Dalton's not really a sexy matchup. But Gio Bernard must start, in my opinion, against his terrible run D. Like I said earlier, 170 yards a game, pretty much given up on the ground. Zeke owners, this might be the game you finally get some payoff from that high pick, because you probably took him in the first round. He's a must start. I love CeeDee Lamb, dude. I love what you said. CeeDee Lamb, to me, is the most reliable receiver that they have. You can see McCarthy's trying to figure out ways to get the ball in that kid's hand. I like Schultz as well, and so does Andy Dalton. From back in the day with the Bengals, Tyler Eifert. Yep. He kind of leans on that tight end a lot. There's not a lot of people. I don't like Cooper. I feel like he always gets the double team, and it frees up everybody else, which is why Lamb's value, I think, is very high. But I don't have much to add from what you said, dude. Same people, just different reasons.
Agree. The Houston Texans go against the Chicago Bears. Josh, who you starting? Who you sitting?
What happened to the Bears defense?
I don't know.
Because did they? I feel like the Bears have kind of given up because their defense isn't as bad as they're playing, which makes Duke Johnson a must start with David Johnson being out. Duke Johnson catching the ball, running the ball. Kiki Kuti, a guy that I mocked last week and he made me look like a complete idiot. He lit it up last week. So this week he's a must start. Actually, the number one receiver with Brandon Cooks being out today. So Deshaun's got to throw the ball somewhere, and Deshaun is. I'd also consider him a must start. This guy does not. To me, he's the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. He does it with no weapons, no line. They traded his best receiver away, and he's still putting up. His numbers are great. And fantasy-wise, if you have him, you have to love him because he's giving you 20 to 30 points a week. I'd start Deshaun. So Deshaun, Duke Johnson, and Kuti is the only people I'm starting on Houston. David Montgomery, Allen Robinson. If you have Allen, you got to start him. And Mitchell Trubisky might be a sneaky, if you're desperate for a quarterback, don't laugh, Mitchell Trubisky.
No, my son is jumping up and down on the couch.
I was going to say, I know you love Mitchell Trubisky, but
I can't stand that guy.
With Houston's defense being this bad, his ability to move in the pocket, it might be a sneaky game where he can sneak in one of those games where it's like maybe he is the guy, and then next week he'll throw 5 interceptions. But that's it for me.
Yeah, man, I agree with everything you said. I'm not going to waste my breath on this game that much. It's going to be Watson. It's going to be Kuti because no one else is there to throw. But I think he might struggle against Chicago's defense because there's really no one else to throw to. That's the problem. And then Chicago, for me, on the flip side, it's Allen Robinson and David Montgomery and nobody else. That's it. There's really no more you could dive into this game. It's going to be a barn. I skipped one. Tennessee Titans go against Jacksonville Jaguars. I know we're not going to spend that much time talking about it. The only guy that I look at Jags is going to be Robinson. I know you like Tyler. Mike Glennon, the neck world. I just can't roll with Jags at all for anything on the PPR side for fantasy. Tennessee, it's a heyday if you have Derrick Henry. I mean, fantasy owners should be just salivating at their mouths at this matchup. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis. I mean, the list can go on for Tennessee. Anybody can have a game. Mike Vrabel might come out and play defense for goodness sakes. So, I mean, it's just one of those boring games that's great for fantasy managers who have any Tennessee offensive player.
Yeah, man, James, he's the best story, I think, in fantasy this year because, like, Jacksonville, accidentally stumbled upon this guy. They cut Leonard Fournette, which, everybody's like, oh, my God, that's such a – and look at him now. He's a healthy scratch for the Bucs. He's the only one on Jacksonville. I completely agree. Derrick Henry owners, this is where your investment in this guy pays off. Jacksonville's bottom 5 against the run. It's going to be Derrick Henry. Corey Davis has been a great story, too. His contract year – his 5th-year option did not get picked up. So he's going into the free agent market, over 1,000 yards receiving. I think he's actually up. If you have him and A.J. Brown, I'd actually start Corey Davis first. I think Corey Davis has a better repertoire with Tannehill at this point, and he's in the red zone. The guy's getting targets. He's getting touchdowns now, which obviously is the biggest thing. I'm sitting A.J. Brown. I don't like it. And Jonnu Smith is a good start. He's back and healthy.
Agree. Minnesota Vikings go against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. From a reality standpoint, like Josh and I have said earlier in this podcast, this is a must-win for Tampa Bay. They lose this, they might be looking themselves outside the door of the playoffs. From a fantasy standpoint, huge matchup if you're either owner of Minnesota or Tampa Bay. I'll start it off. Tom Brady, must start. You got to start him unless you got another quarterback that is worthy of another must start. Mike Evans is a must start. Ronald Jones now becomes a must start because of Leonard Fournette being inactive. Other than that, I'm staying away from Godwin, Brown, and Gronkowski. I think it's going to be all right, Mike. Let's go. Let's roll it. It's going to be you. Production day. We need you. This is what we count on. And Tom Brady, take us to the promised land. Minnesota, obviously Cook. Justin Jefferson, who I think we can agree to say, Josh, is our fantasy wide receiver breakout player of the year. He's the best receiver coming out of this class, bar none as of right now. We'll see what happens in year 2 for these guys. Kirk Cousins, I'm staying away from. I think Kirk Cousins doesn't shine against these games. I think Tampa's going to do a lot of blitzing, and I think it's just going to be a run game. Adam Thielen, obviously you got to start him, but once again, I really think Tampa Bay's defense is going to come out and shine. With that being said, so
this is a put up or shut up game for both these teams. So it's a must-win for both because Minnesota's clinging to that last playoff spot, and Tampa Bay's just trying to stay out of a free fall. They don't want to play Green Bay in the first week of the playoffs or Seattle. No. Don't. Brady struggles against Seattle, which, except that one Super Bowl, but we'll talk about that Tuesday. But it's a must-win for both. Dalvin Cook, in my opinion, he's the best back in the league. Start him. I'm not worried about this run D. Obviously, they're going to stack him. But Dalvin Cook has literally broke the hell out this year. Even missing a game, he's still leading running backs in every category fantasy-wise that you need him to lead in. And guess what? He's getting more catches, which is crazy. They're integrating him more in the passing game, which just helps your case. Justin Jefferson, to me, your boy Herbert's balling out. But if we were to eliminate quarterbacks from Rookie of the Year, this would be the Rookie of the Year, non-quarterback, right? Justin Jefferson would be your offensive Rookie of the Year, taking out Herbert and, Burrow before he got hurt. Dude's been great. What a great find for Minnesota.
Yes.
He had big shoes to fill. Stephon Diggs was a great player for many years, and he still is. Great find. Kudos to Kirk Cousins for getting the guy in. I can appreciate a quarterback, unlike Tom Brady, that actually gets rookies in and gets them involved.
Hello.
On the Tampa Bay side, Ronald Jones, he's going to get 30 carries then, right? Nobody else?
Oh, yeah.
Sean McCoy's been inactive for the last 10 weeks, and now Fournette's a healthy scratch. Mike Evans, like you said, I don't like Godwin. I don't like Antonio Brown. Even though Brady seems to force the ball to his new roommate, I still don't want to start him. So Ronald Jones and Mike Evans are about it. I'm a Gronk owner, Drew, so tell me, should I trust Gronk?
I mean, you can. I don't. I wouldn't.
I'm starting Ebron over Gronk. I'm on a buy.
Yeah, I started Ebron over Gronk, too.
Ebron if I was playing, but that's about it.
Ebron's getting over 13 to 15 targets in the last 2 games. Yep. I got to go Ebron. Thomas Strauss, Strauss, good morning, man. Thank you for tuning into the Blitz presented by the Buzz. Flex 1 and 2-point PPR. Corey Davis, Chris Carson, Brandon Ayuk. I'm staying away from Brandon Ayuk, Thomas. If we're looking down at Corey Davis or Carson, I'm going to go Chris Carson. Only because Corey Davis has to share the field with A.J. Brown and John O. Smith, and obviously 20 to 25 plays carries Derrick Henry. So I'm going to go Chris Carson. Seattle's a running team. It's against the Jets. I think they're gonna empower their will against this weak Jets defense, and I'm going to go Chris Carson.
Yeah, this is flex 1, and these are all good starts, though. Thomas, wrong, man, because we just talked about Corey Davis. Ayuk had a great game last week coming back from injury, and it looks like, as a Patriots fan, it just breaks my heart watching all these teams hit on these young receivers, and I'm stuck with N'Keal Harry, who can't catch the ball to save his life. He has caught his first touchdown.
Bad drafting.
Dude, he just caught his first touchdown catch of his career 30-something games in. But anyway, I'd go Chris Carson. Like you said, it's the Jets. They're terrible. Russell Wilson, wants to have an easy game. I feel like this is a game where Russell throws the ball 20 times. Like, I'd sit Russell Wilson today because I just feel like it's going to be one of those, I'm going to give Hyde and Carson the ball 40 times, and we're just going to get up early, sit on it, and win. So I would start Carson. I'd go Carson, Corey Davis, then Ayuk.
Okay. Another comment here. Oh, got another one. Ryan, good morning, Ryan, man. Thank you for tuning in to The Blitz, presented by The Buzz. Flex and PPR, Kareem Hunt or Gio Bernard? Josh?
I thought I'd live in a world where I'm starting Gio Bernard over Kareem Hunt, but I would, man. It's the fun. That's why I love fantasy football so much, because it's crazy things like this. Denard Robinson won me my league 2 years ago. That's how weird fantasy football is, because he had 2 touchdowns in my championship game, and I had to start somebody. So it's funny how that works. But it's Gio. Dallas is the worst run defense. Brandon Allen's going to feed the ball to him. If they're not, he's the check down guy. Gio's a very good pass catcher. He doesn't get a lot of love. He plays for the Bengals, rightfully so. So he's going to get targets out of the backfield and all the carries. I'm going Gio. Hunt splitting it with Chubb, and we're playing Baltimore, who has when they're healthy, has a pretty respectable run defense. So I'd go Gio.
Never start against a division rival. I'm not starting Kareem Hunt against Baltimore. If Kareem Hunt was by himself, Ryan, then I would definitely feel way more comfortable starting him. But because he isn't, and he's sharing the load with Chubb, I'm going Gio Bernard. There's no one's going to take his targets. There's no one's going to take his carries. I got to go with him. I know that it's hard to decide between a guy who you probably drafted in like the 6th or 7th round to someone that you just picked off waivers. But that guy off waivers has more value in his matchup than Kareem Hunt does against Baltimore. Baltimore defense could just wake up one day and just clown this Browns offense, which they did earlier this season. So I don't feel comfortable with it at all, just because of the situation the Browns are in and the situation Kareem Hunt is in. But thank you for tuning in, man. Give us more questions. We love it. Thank you guys for all the questions. We really appreciate the views. We're going to continue on right now. The Indianapolis Colts go against the Las Vegas Raiders. Real quick for me, must start is Phillip Rivers. He's my must start of the week for the quarterback position. I love this matchup. He knows the Raiders inside and out as a division rival the past 16 years with the Chargers. This verbiage, this offense is just moving smoothly like butter for him. He's playing game manager mode, but I think today he's going to break out his shell a little bit and throw the ball a little bit more. Michael Pittman Jr. is a must start for me. Hines is a must start. Jonathan Taylor is a must start. You don't know. It's either or of those running backs. You got to start them. And then for the Raiders, I'm sitting Derek Carr. I'm sitting Josh Jacobs. And the only person I'm starting is Darren Waller. That's it. I think Carr is just going to have to target him and target this linebacking core, which is very underrated because they are really good against the tight end. But Darren Waller is that special. Line him out on the outside, and then you could just work Darren Waller anywhere you want. X, Y, and Z positions, it doesn't matter. So I'm going. That's the only guy I'm going with for Vegas, Josh.
Yeah. I love the Colts defense. I love Darius Leonard, which means nothing for fantasy, but their defense is good. So on the Vegas side, I really love your point about Phillip Rivers. I didn't even think about it because he has played the Raiders for 20 close to 20 years now. So he is obviously familiar with everything they do. So I like Rivers as well. I wasn't sold coming in, but you kind of sold me on it. That makes a lot of sense. And he's been playing better. You see T.Y. Hilton have a few touchdowns. He's a sneaky sort of flex. He's finally kind of getting into the flow, which surprisingly took him the whole damn year, but better late than never, especially for a team with hopes of a deep playoff run.
Do you think he was injured?
I'd like to believe that's what the problem was. I don't want to think T.Y.'s just fell off the face of the earth because he's such a talented receiver and he's not old to where he should be declining this quick. New quarterback, no training camp. I'll just kind of chalk that up as a wash. If he finishes the year strong, then I'm buying that. But if he starts struggling again, then maybe he needs to move on. He is a free agent after this year.
Can I make a bold prediction?
Yeah, go ahead.
T.Y. Hilton will be one of my sleepers next year for receivers.
Which team does he play for?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
It'll be a redemption year for him next year. I like Hines. I like Taylor. I like what they're doing with both backs. As a Jonathan Taylor owner, it's worried me up to the last few weeks. He's put up over 15 points in both games. So he's getting the carries. Hines is getting the receptions. Your boy Pittman, I'm buying the receiving core out him. And even Cox at tight end, I'm buying, which we made fun of Chuck for drafting him, even though he took him like the third round. But still, this might be a 38-17 kind of Colts dominant win. And Rivers gets all of his weapons get a little piece of the pie. So I like the Colts a lot, and I'm with you. Outside of Waller, I'm not starting anybody on Vegas.
New York Jets against the Seattle Seahawks. We're not going to talk much about this game. I don't trust anyone from the Jets side at all whatsoever besides nobody. I'm going Seattle. I'm going Russell Wilson. I'm going Tyler Lockett. I'm going DK Metcalf. I'm going Chris Carson. No one else. I'm not going to talk much about this game.
No one. If I'm playing devil's advocate, because there is people that probably have Jets. I mean, Frank Gore's healthy. If you're desperate, he's there. Jamison Crowder, I mean, they're going to throw the ball. They're going to be playing from behind. So Jamison Crowder's your number one receiver. Seattle, I'd actually sit Russ. I think this is one of those games where he's quiet and they just run. I think they're going to
sit Russ.
I'd sit Russ. Watch, he's going to get 16 points today. Watch, because they're going to get up early. Carson's going to get 30 because they're going to run the ball the whole damn game and they're going to get up 21-0. They're going to get a pick six and they're going to sit on the lead and they're going to make sure Russ doesn't take unnecessary hits and they're going to run the ball. But the Jets, number one, Metcalf and Carson.
Yep. In a game that I expect to be high points, probably the most highest points of the week, the Atlanta Falcons go against the LA Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Thank God. With that being said, Josh, who you got to start? Who you got to sit?
I mean, this feels like a free-for-all. Play all of them. I mean, no Julio, so Calvin Ridley, boom. Hayden Hurst, kind of disappointing. I thought he'd be a bigger impact, kind of like the Austin Hooper thing. I'm sitting him. It's unfortunate because with Hooper being going to Cleveland, I thought this guy would come in. They gave up a nice little, second-round pick. They gave up a hefty price to bring this guy in, and he's not delivered. But Calvin Ridley, Todd Gurley, hell, even B.J. Hill is getting a lot of carries as well. I would start. B.J. Hill, I mean, he'd be a flex, but, running back's a very thin position at this time of year for a lot of people, so he could be a sneaky running back too. Chargers, man, I mean, Eckler, he's back and performing. Your boy Herbert, Keenan Allen, the usual suspects. Hunter Henry. For Mike Williams, a sneaky start against this secondary, even though he's inconsistent. But this could be a shootout, Drew. I mean, I feel like you have any players that are starting in this game, you start them.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I hope it is a shootout because I'm starting Justin Herbert over Tom Brady. I have to. That Atlanta defense is just way more worse than Minnesota, and Tom Brady's so inconsistent as of late. But for me personally, the only person that I'm sitting is Mike Williams. I don't trust Mike. I don't know what's going on with him. A couple years ago, a star in the making. Last 2 years, trash. It's just inconsistency due to injuries. And he doesn't shine like we thought he would. And so with that being said, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert. From the Atlanta side, it's Matt Ryan It's Russell Gage is one of my sleepers this week. I'm sliding him in because of Julio Jones being out. Russell Gage, Calvin Ridley's going to eat, and Hayden Hurst I'm staying away from. And I'm staying away from the running backs. Don't like Atlanta's running backs at all whatsoever. Green Bay Packers go against the Detroit Lions. For me, I know we talked a little bit about this game. Marvin Jones is a start for me, and DeAndre Swift, who had an inconclusive test this morning for COVID, came out, retested. He's good to go. He's playing. So I am going to start DeAndre Swift, and I'm going to start TJ Hawk. Green Bay side, I'm looking at Green Bay. It's Devontae Adams. It's Aaron Jones. And that's it. And Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan, tight end for Green Bay, is my sleeper of the week. Is my must start of the week. Sorry, for tight ends this week is Robert Tonyan. Talking about a guy who's got a touchdown every week the last 4 or 5 weeks, I believe. I know we did a buy or sell with him last week, and I bought him, and he tore it up again once again. So I got to go with these guys. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, who is in the MVP conversation. It's Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and nobody else. With that being said, those are my starts for this game and sits.
Yeah. Detroit, Marvin Jones, and TJ Hawk. Those are the only two pass catchers that Stafford's even looking at this point, which is good for Hawkinson owners because we've been waiting for this kid to blow up for a couple of years since he was a first-round pick out of Iowa. Green Bay, who's hotter right now than Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams? If you have that duo, quarterback-receiver combo, you're probably going to win your league. Let's be honest. Like, those guys are putting up 30 points each.
Killing it.
Your boy Tonyan, been balling out, dude. We bought him last week, and he made us look good because he had another great game. Aaron Jones, even Jamal Adams is a pretty decent start because he's getting some catches.
Williams.
My bad. Yeah, Williams.
You're good.
He's getting some catches out of the backfield. I'm selling Lazard. I'm honestly not buying a receiver outside of Devontae.
No.
Outside of Adams.
No. Not with the surgence of Tonyan. They don't need – MVS is pretty much gone. So now you have Al Lazard, and he'll get some catches, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, like you said, the most deadliest combo this year. I think we agree that it's them, and then it's probably Patrick Mahomes and Hill, and then nobody else.
Nope,
so
I agree.
New Orleans Saints go against Philadelphia Eagles. Drew Brees is out. Obviously, we talked about it already, and Carson Wentz is backing up Jalen Hurts. From the Philadelphia side, because of Jalen Hurts being in, I'm sitting everybody. I don't give a crap. I'm not starting anyone. I don't trust Jalen Hurts throwing the ball because I haven't seen him play. So I always see the glimpse of what he could do against Green Bay in the second half. So with that being said, New Orleans defense scares me a lot more than Green Bay's defense, Josh. So with that being said, I'm starting New Orleans defense. I know we never talk about it, but I am starting. That is a must start for me this week is New Orleans defense. On the offensive side for New Orleans, I'm going with Tyson Hill. I think Tyson Hill has proven doubters wrong constantly each and every week. It's just a different type of game calling. Alvin Kamara, I'm starting, obviously. And then Michael Thomas is a start. For me, I'm sitting Jared Cook. Don't like it. Don't trust it. And I'm sitting Emmanuel Sanders. Don't like it and don't trust it because Tyson Hill is only going to throw to one guy, and that's Michael Thomas or Kamara out of the backfield. And for Philly, like I said, I'm not starting anyone at all whatsoever.
Yeah, it's kind of a wait and see on Philly's offense to see how it's the first game with Hurt starting. I'm with you. I'm not playing anybody on Philly, but if you're a Miles Sanders owner and you took him high, you're kind of obligated to start him. So I apologize. You just kind of got to plug him in and hope for the best. New Orleans, this feels like one of those games Taysom Hill's just going to run for 100 and throw for 250 and probably have 4 touchdowns between running and throwing, right? That's the thing he does. The shit breaks down in the pocket. He scrambles around and he makes it move with his feet. Then he has the ability to throw, which keeps the defense on the edge. I like Emmanuel Sanders has been such a disappointment. I had such high hopes for the guy this year, being the number 2 to Michael Thomas. But he just hasn't. Some game he's had a
Drew
few
Brees
games,
is not there. Drew Brees is not there though.
But even when he was there, they weren't really. And there was no Michael Thomas. He still wasn't the guy.
It was Kamara.
Yeah, Kamara's the leading receiver and rusher.
Same go to Jared Cook too, right? You feel the same way about Jared Cook?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
it's been disappointing. This offense is underachieved this year with all the weapons they have.
I agree.
Latavius Murray's he's been running the ball well too. I think he's an actually good start in this game because he's been getting, I think it's like 18 and a half carries over the last 5 weeks. So he's getting carries out of the backfield. Like you just said, Kamara's they're putting him in the slot and he's like their best receiver this year.
Yep.
But I'm pretty much the same thing. Sit Cook, sit Traquan Smith. I've got a lot of Traquan Smith questions because he's kind of broken out a little bit over the last few weeks. I think he's had 5 catches the last 2 games. So in PPR, that's decent, but I'd still sit him. And Michael Thomas owners like me, he might finally pay off for a week. He's a must start as well.
Okay. Washington Redskins, almost said Redskins. WFT. There we go. Beats the San Francisco 49ers. This game tells me it's like a game that's telling you it's going to be like 13-10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really don't expect a lot in this game. For me personally, from a fantasy standpoint, I'm staying away from both. But if we had to, obviously, Terry McLaurin for the Washington football team, probably one of the best receivers in fantasy football this year. He is. But for this week, probably he's a good start. It's going to be really interesting to see what the San Francisco defense could do. Washington's just coming off a high, beating Pittsburgh on this past Monday. Can Alex Smith reciprocate what he did on Monday against Pittsburgh against a weaker defense? But San Francisco just got exposed against Buffalo. But Josh Allen was able to extend the play, which caused San Francisco defense to be weakened. I don't see Alex Smith being able to do what Josh Allen could do. So it's going to be really hard. But for me, Terry is a must start. J.D. McKissick is a must start with Gibson being out. And Logan Thomas is a must start for me. San Francisco side, I'm looking at Debo. I'm looking at Brandon Ayuk. And I'm looking at Mostert as my 3 guys that are must starts. I'm sitting Jordan Reed. And I'm sitting Mullins. And I'm sitting Alex Smith.
Logan Thomas is my favorite start. I love the story of the kid. He played quarterback at Virginia Tech. He's bounced around the league. And now look at him. He's probably, outside of McLaurin, the best playmaker they have. And you see it in the Pittsburgh game. The dude just catches the damn ball. Yeah. He caught a pass that was like a -5 gain. Like, it would have been better if it would have just been incomplete. But, like, the guy catches everything that comes his way. He's a big guy, and he looks like he's going to finally fill that, as the aforementioned Jordan Reed shoes that the football team has tried to fill. They needed a damn name, dude. This is killing me. But, like, I want to refer to they need a damn name.
Oh, God.
I can't be like the football team. I feel like an idiot. But anyway, this I agree. This screams 14-13. Like one of those games that, like, both teams are struggling to score. The first team to 10 wins. So for fantasy owners, it kind of sucks. But Thomas, McKissick, no Gibson today. He's out. He got hurt in the game against Pittsburgh. Then on the Niners side, Ayuk, Debo. And I ain't even buying Mostert that much because I really like the way the Washington's defense is played. That defensive line's nasty. They got some intense talent on that line that nobody notices because it's Washington. But that D-line is first and second round picks all over that line, man. Dirty. And Chase Young hasn't even been doing much right now. No. But that's it. Yeah.
Got a question. Carrie, one of our very own for the Buzz, though, if you guys ever need to catch up on the challenge recaps, our girl Carrie is our go-to person for writing weekly recaps of the new season, Challenge 36. Also, we have an interview with Wes Bregman, myself and Daniel, what we did this past week. Check it out, man. It was really good stuff. Carrie's got a question, Josh. PPR, Christian Kirk or DJ Shark? Oh, my God. Or DJ Shark. Thanks, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, it's Christian Kirk. DJ Shark is hurt. And I don't trust him at all. He's going to be on a stat count. Supposedly that was a rumored. So I'm going with Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I'm going for pretty much the same reason. This is a rough one, Curry.
Curry.
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk is like the ultimate. He could go from 0 to 20. Like, he could catch a deep bomb from Murray, and then he could have a game where he has 1 catch for 4 yards, but he plays 60 snaps. So he's very odd. But I'm not trusting Jacksonville today. They're playing Tennessee. I think this is just a game where they just get absolutely blown out. Even playing in garbage time, I don't trust Shark. He's injured, like you said, so I feel like he's not even going to see a lot of time on the field if this game gets out of hand early. So I'd go Kirk.
Agree. Pittsburgh Steelers go against the Buffalo Bills. Big game, big implications. Josh's favorite player of all time, future Hall of Famer Josh Allen, is going to be playing against Pittsburgh. I think Josh Allen heard Josh's comments earlier this year. Me and Josh been going back and forth personally. I think Allen's playing out of his mind. Really good football at the quarterback position. This game is speaking as game of the year to me. I feel it. Pittsburgh's defense is going to be on a tough task. I think people are forgetting, Josh, they lost two of their best linebackers for the year in Dupree and Bush. So they're gone. It's pretty much over. So I think Pittsburgh's defense is a lot more weakened in the linebacking positions. So that being said, I think Josh Allen is a must start. If you got Josh Allen, you got to start him. I think Pittsburgh is just in a bad situation right now. And for Buffalo, I'm also starting Stephon Diggs. I'm also going to start. I'm sorry, not Stephon Diggs. My bad, Josh. I'm starting Cole Beasley. Beasley is my must start of the week. That linebacking core is not going to be able to cover the slot. They're going to put a slot corner on him, and it's still not going to be enough because Cole is so underrated. It's ridiculous with his route running.
Yep.
For Pittsburgh side, I'm scared of Buffalo's defense if I'm owner of Big Ben. It's just their defense is playing really good football right now. I mean, Herbert struggled against them, and he's a rook. And then we go next week, it's Mullins. I know they've been benefited off of playing guys who are not veterans and this and that, but we saw what Big Ben did at home against the Washington football team. It was kind of alarming and kind of scary. Also, just to credit, their receivers had 9 drop passes for Pittsburgh. I don't see that happening again, but it's at Buffalo. This is going to be tough. I'm going to start. I'm sitting James Conner. I'm sitting any running back for Pittsburgh. On the flip side, I am starting Eric Ebron, and I am going to start. I'm going to start Juju, and I'm going to start Deontay. I'm going to start the receivers. You have to. You got to start them, and I am going to sit Big Ben.
Yeah, Buffalo. We talked earlier in the year about what's happened to this defense. They're not playing well. Well, they seem to kind of pick it up. Inferior competition, I mean, that's fair, but you have to beat who's really their fault. Josh Allen, I think he's going to ball out. Pittsburgh defense has been hurting the last month. No Devin Bush. That's really been hurting, even though he's been out for a while. Bud Dupree was a huge loss in the middle of that defense. He's literally like their team captain, him and TJ Watt. So I would go – Stephon Diggs had a hell of a year. They got Josh Allen. They went out and got him a number 1 receiver. But I love Cole Beasley, and I agree with you 1,000,000%. This guy's so underutilized, and Buffalo hasn't been using him as well as they could have. Out of the slot, dude, he's hard as hell to defend. He's quick. He has really quick feet. He runs crisp routes. He doesn't – and hell, he even threw a touchdown a few weeks ago. So he even gives you that surprise aspect you might get. And they'll give him that quick jet sweep every now and then, kind of like New England does with Edelman, where he just runs behind you, and Allen drops it off to him. He breaks you a 30-yard touchdown run. Pittsburgh side, dude, I don't like a lot of what they have. If I have any Steeler, unless you're kind of in a tough spot with like a Claypool or Juju, I don't want to play many Steelers today. This is a statement game for the Bills. So as a Josh Allen diehard fan, Josh Allen, this is your game. You're at home. It's prime time. It's Sunday Night Football. Go show us that you can win. Go show us that you can win a big game. This is a 10-1 team. You're at home. Everybody's watching you tonight. It's COVID time, unfortunately. We're watching more TV. And all eyes are on you. You shit the bed, you're going to get criticized. This is your put up or shut up moment for this year. Go win the game. Get that bad taste of that Kansas City game where you shit the bed out of your mouth and show me that you're an actual playoff caliber quarterback. This is his time to shine, dude. I'm starting him. I'm going to believe in Josh Allen today. Let's see what he does.
Ricky Hernandez, thank you for tuning into the Blitz, my man. And we are presented by The Buzz. Ricky has a question, Josh. DeAndre Washington or DeAndre Swift as his flex play? Yeah, I agree. It's Swift. It's got to be Swift, Ricky. I like DeAndre Washington, but I can't go with him against Kansas City. I'm going to go with Swift, man. I just feel like the Green Bay's defense is a lot more weaker than the Kansas City defense in this matchup, particularly because, they're going to box up against Tua. you're not going to. I think Green Bay's defense is going to respect Matt Stafford a lot, and they're just going to, they're going to play that basic zone, probably cover 2 coverage, and you're going to see Swift get a lot more opportunities. Yeah. Dylan Mays, good morning, my man, and thank you for tuning in to the Blitz. Jonnu Smith or Jordan Reed, Josh?
I'd go Jonnu Smith. As much as I'd love for a Jordan Reed, or like I'm healthy, I'm back to sort of kind of being the player I was. I just don't see it. I mean, he's obviously the starter with George Kittle done for the season. But I like Jonnu coming back against it's not a terrible Jacksonville defense, but it's going to be like, hey, I'm back. And Ryan Tannehill loves Jonnu Smith. It's funny when in interviews, he always brings up how talented they asked him in an interview last week about the breakout of Corey Davis. He started talking about, I'm so excited Jonnu's back this week. Like, that just kind of shows where Tannehill's head is with this guy, which I found interesting. Yeah. I'm going Jonnu Smith, and I don't like Jordan Reed, like we talked earlier. Even though he'd love to ball out against his old team, it's a 14-10 kind of game, so I don't see many points. So I'd go Jonnu.
Yeah, I agree, man. I can't trust Jordan Reed at all. We saw what happened last week. Not really a lot of targets. Not really a lot of just anything. This is a Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk type of game. If it needs to be passing, I'm going Jonnu Smith, Dylan. I feel like that's the best move for you, brother. And like Josh said, Ryan Tannehill, a lot of targets to Jonnu Smith. Loves a tight end. He's on the tight end since his days in Miami. You got to roll with Jonnu. I know it's week 1. I know it's week 1 of the playoffs. Just got to trust your gut, man, and trust us. We're going Jonnu Smith. I think it's the better matchup for you. Thank you for tuning in, Dylan. And if you have any more questions, give us your questions. Same to you, Rick. Appreciate it, Ricky. Thanks, Drew. Yeah, you're welcome, Ricky. You're welcome, buddy. Josh, our last game is Monday night. Baltimore Ravens against the Cleveland Browns. This game, I mean, another potential big-time game, Josh. If the Cleveland Browns can get their head out of their ass and beat a contender for 2 weeks in a row, we could see something emerge from the AFC North as probably arguably the most competitive division across the NFL besides the NFC West. So with that being said, Baltimore's coming off a big win against Dallas. I know it's Dallas, but they needed that confidence booster like no other. They got them to 7-5. Cleveland is sitting at, I believe, 9-3. And so this game is going to be a tough game. I'm looking at it from a fantasy standpoint. I hate going against division rivals. I hate it, Josh. It's one of my worst. It's probably like I overthink the most matchups when it comes to rivals that are pretty similar, if you think about it, in their strengths. Cleveland's got a great defense. Baltimore's got a good defense. Both offenses are heavy run. So I'm looking at it. Chubb, Hunt are starts. Baker Mayfield, I'm sitting. Yep. Jarvis Landry is a start because he's the only guy that's going to get the most targets. Watch out, Josh, for Higgins. I think Higgins could make a play in Monday night's matchup. We got news. Austin Hooper is officially inactive for Monday night, who is the tight end for the Browns. So they're most likely going to go with Njoku at tight end. Looking at Baltimore side, I'm looking, and if Mark Andrews can play, you start Mark Andrews. For the running backs, I'm going J.K. Dobbins. You're sitting Mark Ingram. He's done. No fantasy value at all whatsoever from Mark Ingram. Lamar Jackson. If you got Lamar, I know deep down in the pit of your stomach, it hurts. But if you got someone better, I roll with someone better. But just because his passing is just not good this year. If you watched the game last week against Dallas, I watched a pretty good amount of it. His passing is just not up to par as it was in 2019, which was his MVP season. It scares me a little bit. And his running is just I don't know what's going on. It just seems there's something of a big disconnect. And moving forward, I picked Cleveland to win this game on Wednesday night when we did our picks on game-winning drive. I'm looking at this game, Josh, and I think it's going to be a 2017 type of game. But those are my starts. I'm sitting any receiver for the Baltimore side. Don't trust them.
I agree. Baltimore, the only people I'm starting is, if healthy, Mark Andrews and J.K. Dobbins. Cleveland side, both running backs. I mean, I feel the coach of Cleveland, who's coach of the year.
Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah. A Cleveland coach got it. Well, that's what happens when you hire a guy that doesn't work at Goodyear and put him in as a head coach, like Freddie Kitchens last year. But, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, I feel like we're going to
Why Goodyear? Why Goodyear?
Listen, it just came to mind. The Browns.
Costco could have been better.
Don't disrespect Costco. They would never hire Freddie Kitchens. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. You know what's weird? He doesn't have fantasy value, but it is worth noting. Donovan Peoples-Jones has had 2 over 50 yards catches the last 2 weeks, and he's actually been starting in the slot. My dude from Michigan who underachieved there because they have no quarterback play, watch for him to be a potential guy in dynasty leagues down the road if he actually keeps –
Good call.
Obviously, they trust him because he's starting. And, Odell Beckham, I think he's done there. So –
Oh, he's gone. He's leaving. He's leaving.
So down the road, but that's dynasty. We're talking about today. Jarvis Landry must start. David Njoku, now that Hooper's out, Njoku's trying to get a job next year. So when the ball comes his way, he could be a guy that Baker kind of targets. But I see your expression. It's reluctant, but tight end is such a tight spot in fantasy because there's not many good tight ends. So like for me, I'm desperate for a tight end right now. Is Njoku worth a flyer on a Monday night game? Hopefully you're already winning and it doesn't matter. But he could be. But other than that, I'm kind of with you on everything else. I'm sitting Baker and Higgins. I like it. He's getting targets too. Baker's spreading the ball out.
He is. We got a lot of comments. I heard you say sit James Conner. Should I sit Conner? Listen, man, Rick, if you got someone else that is more reliable, give it to me and let me hear it, and I will give you a yes or no. But for Conner against Baltimore, man, history has shown us Conner is not trustworthy this year whatsoever at all. He looks hurt. He's not running good. And they're splitting a lot of carries, believe it or not, with Snell and McFarland. So I just don't trust Conner at all. And pick up DeAndre Washington. No, I'm not picking him up. Not against Kansas City's defense. I don't feel comfortable with it at all. Edmonds or Brown in that flex, Josh?
That's our boy Benison from Stand Your Ground. That's John Brown. Just to clarify, it's not AJ Brown. Man, is it crazy I'm going John Brown? Because I think Josh Allen spreads Pittsburgh's defense out and picks them apart a little bit this week. I really do. Diggs is going to command a double team. You got Cole Beasley in the slot, which Pittsburgh's defense I feel is going to pay a lot more attention to, especially the way he's played over the last few weeks, which gives John Brown single coverage. Is John Brown healthy is my concern. He's been out, and Chase Edmonds is going to get those receptions out of the backfield with Arizona, who throw the ball a lot. But if healthy, I'd go John Brown, but it's a close one.
Alex, if this is in our league, there's other guys there on the free agent wire. They're a lot better than these two. Let's go find someone else. That's my advice to you.
27 minutes, Alex. Go look at the waiver wire.
Go find someone else. Ricky, CMC being out is killing me. I know. I got a CMC in like 3 leagues. Trust me, I had the number 1 overall pick. I've only had him for 3 games. It sucks. Latavius Murray or Colin Johnson. PPR, flex. Wow, that is tough. I'm going to go Murray. I like Murray a lot. He's the change of pace back. As you have seen as of late, he is getting a lot more carries because Kamara is being used everywhere. He is literally at every position. Kamara is like the modern day whore. He's just being used everywhere. It's just insane. If you're a freaking Kamara owner and you picked him 3rd or 4th in the draft, kudos to you, man. You got to be super ecstatic after, CMC and Saquon Barkley both pretty much being out all year. So, I mean, sky's the limit for you. But, yeah, what would you say, Josh?
I'm with you, Murray. They're actually using him as the actual running back. Even though Kamara is a running back, he's lined up everywhere. So Murray's getting the ball 20, 25 times. And he's had a few games here lately where he's over 100 and a couple touchdowns because he gets the ball on the goal line as well.
Yep.
So
I agree.
I'm going Murray.
Doug, Mohamed Sanu, what? He still plays? Or Danny Amendola or Robinson or Morris or Komet? Need another flex. Josh, go ahead.
Sanu. No, I'm kidding. Not Sanu. Sanu is Sanu and Amendola are both on Detroit. I know Sanu was on their practice squad. I know he's active due to the Galladay injury. Man, Morris is with the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Man, Jesus.
You want me to take it?
I'd go to Marcus Robinson.
Yeah, I was going to say DeMarcus Robinson as well. That's out of those choices, DeMarcus Robinson makes the most sense.
Komet, I feel like they need a better quarterback.
Nah.
Komet has a lot to offer, I feel. Just they have no quarterback.
You still got Jimmy Graham there. It's going to cause pain and headaches. Alfred Morris, 2 touchdowns last week, like we said earlier in this podcast. But I don't feel like Alfred Morris is going to have that every week. So they're going to roll with Wayne Gallman most of the game. Robinson at least has an outside chance of getting targets and getting some playing time. Amendola, yeah, it's hit or miss. You could go Amendola. It's either Amendola or Robinson for me, Douglas. If I had a pick, I probably would go with Robinson more just because he's going to get a little bit more targets than Amendola. You don't know what you're going to get with Detroit. It's always in and out, man. It's too in and out for me. Ricky, or pick him up, dude. I pick up Duke Johnson in a minute and start him over James Conner. That's just me, but that would be my decision. Or I have Latavius Murray on my bench. No, I still go with Duke Johnson because he's going to be the starter. So go with Duke, right, Josh?
Yeah, sit Connor. I think that was his original question was James Conner. So if you have the opportunity to go get Duke, go get him. And then Murray, if something happens, people tune in like, oh, shit, I got to go get Duke and he's gone now, then start Murray over Connor.
Yep. David Rodriguez, thanks for tuning in, David. We appreciate it. This is The Blitz presented by The Buzz. Seattle defense or Carolina's defense, Josh?
Seattle's playing the Jets. It's Seattle's defense all day. I think it's the best defensive play today. That and Warren are the 2 best defensive plays today. You're good.
Seattle's defense has been playing great the last 2 weeks. Held Giants to 13, 15 points. And then the week before that, they played great. I'm going with Seattle's defense. I think they're on the right trend coming to playoffs. But Seattle's offense is the question. If there's an offense more that needs a confidence booster, it's Seattle's offense. Hopefully they get right back on track. They all should have a big game today.
Hey, Drew, interesting tidbit. You remember the big trade that happened before the season between these 2 teams, right? Seattle and the Jets?
Yeah.
Jamal Adams. You know what's kind of interesting? Today, so Jamal Adams has 7.5 sacks this year. If he gets half of a sack, he will break the record by Adrian Wilson for the most sacks in NFL history in one season by a defensive back against the team that traded him and talked all that shit as he left.
Getting it. He's getting it today.
Who do you think's a tad bit motivated going into this game today? Jamal Adams. I think Jamal Adams gets 2.5 sacks and probably a pick 6. I think he balls out and gets that record today. I think
he's about to get paid.
Dude, yeah. And he should. Great move by Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. 1,000%. You got one of the best safeties in the game for 2 first rounds. Oh, well. Take it in.
Easy, yeah.
Dylan, I also have Kamara. Good job, Dylan. Ricky, cool, bro. Let you know how my playoffs go today. Appreciate it, Rick. Good luck today, my man.
Oh, for sure.
David, another question. Mostert vs. Washington or Hope Gore is out and plug T.Y. Johnson? No. This is tough. Gore, we don't know if Gore's out or not. I know Josh could double check for us right now.
He's active.
He's active. Okay, so if he's active, go with Raheem. I would have to go with Raheem there. That's the most easiest choice for me to go with. Other than that, yeah, man, that's tough. I know he's going to go against a tough Washington front, like we talked about earlier, Josh. But if I had to pick between these 2 players, you got to go with the guy who's going to get more than 15 carries a game. I'm going to go with Raheem.
Yeah, I go Mostert as well. I mean, Gore's active, but they're playing Seattle. I think Seattle gets up early. They're going to be throwing the ball, which eliminates Frank Gore's value altogether pretty much. I think he's only projected like 7 points as the starting running back anyway, so I go Mostert.
Yeah, he was the waiver wire of the week pickup, but for me, I stayed away from him. I didn't want him. Douglas Pinto, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys going live every week. Thank you. Hey, Doug, we appreciate you tuning in, man, and always follow like the buzz. We're getting huge. We're getting big. If you do us a favor, Doug, share around to your friends and your family. The more viewers we get, the more followers we get, the more likes we get, the more opportunities we can give this to you guys. We appreciate it. That defense has destroyed running backs. Thanks. I agree, David. I know Washington's defense is scary. It's scary. If you have anybody else, my man, I will plug in anybody else if you have someone that you believe in, because Raheem is going to go against a tough matchup today. And obviously the other guy that you choose, which was T.Y. Johnson. I know Seattle's defense is Seattle's defense, but they have been playing great the last couple of weeks. You got to keep that in your mind. Right, Josh? Am I right about that, or do you have any disagreements?
Nope, you're right.
Cool,
I agree.
Guys, checked out this last awesome commercial we have before we had to say our goodbyes. It's our podcast channel of the week where you guys can catch us on what we want to watch.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute is chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you all know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance at the top 10 when you getting clamped all night by a locksmith. On the block, throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look with the top dish. Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks. Crossover, step back, hit a shot, swish. Tell them that's what we ready for. Tell them that's what we ready for.
Yes, sir. There we go. That is our shows of the week, Josh, and obviously to our whole audience, you guys need to check in, watch our shows. It's a huge variety: wrestling, marriage counseling, pretty much, and football. We should we break the news, Josh, about our new podcast show that's coming out?
Yeah, we're adding more sports.
More sports. Baseball is now a part of our freaking lineup. And let me tell you something. I am excited for Frozen Ropes. I am really excited for that show. How about you?
I am too. Big baseball guy, and baseball's not as far away as people think. We're right in the middle of free agency.
Yep.
We're still waiting on like Trevor Bauer, the big names to kind of – I feel like that one signing is kind of get that ball rolling. We see McCann signed for 4 years, $40 million yesterday as we broke on the buzz. Yeah, dude, I'm very excited for a variety. I'm a baseball guy as well. As a Red Sox fan, I had a very sad 2020, just like I have in most of my sports leagues, as far as my favorite teams. But I'm excited. Love the variety. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with our boy Hunter.
Yep. Last one, sorry. Sneak Cordell Patterson. He's got a wide receiver running back tag. Yes. I actually am high on Cordell Patterson. Gets his defense. He's going to get a lot more carries. This is going to be a barn burner. So Cordell also does punt return, kick return. In our league, we count that as points. So, I would go with Cordell. If you need someone to plug in, I will go with him. Josh?
Yeah, I like Cordell Patterson a lot. New England had him a few years ago. I mean, he can be – I think Belichick McDaniels kind of actually put him in that running back role because we kind of needed a back due to injury. And the Bears were like, what a great idea. We can utilize him here. And it works. Because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. You can line him up at and he also has that punt return for a touchdown capability, like you said. But in most leagues, that does get points. So, yeah, he is a sneaky start.
Cool. Dylan, different league. J.K. Dobbins, J.T. McKissick, Gio. Oh, my God. Gio Bernard, pick two. For me, man, actually, the more I think about it, it's actually a lot more easier for me. I'm going to go with J.D. McKissick, and I'm going to go with Gio Bernard. Gio Bernard, obviously, is going to go against Dallas. And J.D. McKissick is going to go against San Fran. Obviously, Antonio Gibson is gone. Joe Mixon is gone. Those two are going to get a lot of value. J.K. is going to be sharing the field with Gus Edwards. So I want to push that to the side. And Pittsburgh's defense is still pretty scary in the front. So I'm going to go with McKissick. I'm going to go with Bernard. I love their matchups a lot more, and they have more opportunities with more carries.
Yeah, same. I think Gio's like a top 5. It sounds nuts start, though. Dallas's run defense is just not good. No. And McKissick is the guy now. They really don't have anything else there with Gibson, who unfortunately got hurt because he's had a really good rookie year. But I agree. I'd go those two as well.
All right, guys, that is our show. We're about 15 minutes away from the opening game. And, a lot is going on. A lot is changing here at the Buzz. It's a new format. It's a new company for Josh and I and the Blitz show. We love it. We love the transition. And as you look, checking the bottom of the ticker, Manscaped. We have a promo code for you, which is Blitz 2020. Anything that you buy, go and get it. Check out our show. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Josh, any final words?
No, dude. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Love a lot of questions today. Probably our biggest episode question, dude. Keep bringing it. Tell your family. Tell your friends. The deeper we get into fantasy playoffs, dude. Listen, that's why I said at the beginning, me and Drew are off this week in our league. So we feel like we actually know what we're talking about a little bit. So hopefully it works out for you guys. Come back next week. Tell us we were wrong. Tell us we were right. Tell us, hey, you suck. I should have played this guy. Let us know. We'll get better and try to help you guys every single week.
Great words, man. Yeah, we always try to get better. Guys, thank you guys so much. A lot of questions today. We really appreciate it. We hope that helped you guys out today, as it is in most leagues, week 1 of the playoffs. We wish you guys nothing but the best and good luck. Thanks for tuning in. And Josh and I, we will be back next week. We got a couple more weeks of the show, and then we're going to obviously take a big break. We'll be back next year in 2021 to give you our fantasy takes, our fantasy news, and everything for week 1 and our preseason. We will come up with some ideas during August, because I know a lot of drafts are going to be happening. A lot of people don't want questions and comments and concerns, where to draft, who to draft. Josh and I will be your guys to help you with your drafts next year. We can't wait. We're excited. We are so excited what we can do next year. Thank you guys for tuning into the Blitz. We are presented by The Buzz. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and anything else that has anything in it.
Andrew, we got one more.
Couple more comments.
Tunyon or Andrews? Ricky wants to know.
Tunyon.
Agreed.
Tunyon.
Andrews is banged up, and the matchup's kind of rough because Cleveland's defense has been playing really well.
Exactly. You just hit the nail on the head, brother. Detroit's linebacking core is one of the worst against tight ends this year in fantasy. Got to go with Tunyon. One of the most favorable matchups of the year. Got to love it. Ryan, a great job. Thank you, guys. Ryan, thanks, man. Tune in next week, bro. Please tune in next week. All right, guys, we'll catch you next week. This is our end of our show. Good luck today.